If you're American and you've been Googling, how do I move to Canada? And you're not seeing the options you want to see, this video is for you. Some of the pathways are more straightforward than others. Familial connections, investment opportunities, or getting permanent residency. If the first two are a no-go, which they are for a lot of people, and permanent residency seems like your only way, I need you to pause, because that's exactly what I thought, and it cost me almost a full year. I spent 12 months in the express entry pool, refreshing draw scores at 2 a.m., thinking if I just had some more points, more credentials, more something. But what I didn't realize is I was trying to skip a step. I was trying to move to Canada permanently without actually ever getting into Canada first. There is a path Americans often don't think they qualify for, because when you check that pathway under the Canadian immigration website, the United States is not even listed. So most of us close the tab and the pathway in our brains. I did, and I was wrong. Today, I'm breaking down the hidden way Americans under 35 can legally move to Canada, work, get a social insurance number, build Canadian work experience, and strategically position themselves for permanent residency. It's called International Experience Canada, and you have to do it through an RO. It's not easy, it's not cheap, but it works. And by the end of this video, you'll know why express entry alone might be the wrong first move, what a recognized organization actually does, how much this realistically costs, and how to use this temporary permit to dramatically increase your permanent residency score. So grab a coffee or a Coke Zero. This is the video I wish I had at the beginning of my journey. I wasted an entire year chasing the wrong rabbit hole to try to move to Canada. And when I say wasted, I mean 12 months of refreshing immigration draw results, calculating points at midnight, wondering if I needed another degree, another certification, another year of experience, just to hit a score I was realistically probably never going to hit from outside the country. I was chasing permanent residency first, and what the year taught me is this. Sometimes you're banging on the front door when the side door is wide open. If you're an American under 35 and you want to live and work in Canada, but you feel stuck because you don't have a master's degree and a job offer and a 500+ rest score, I need you to hear this. There is another path. It's called International Experience Canada, through a recognized organization, and I counted it out completely. So today I'm going to walk you through the mistake I made with express entry, why Americans don't think IEC applies to us, what recognized organizations are, what the real process looks like, and how to strategically use this to build towards PR. This is not clickbait, it is not easy, it is not cheap, but it is real. And if you're serious about coming to Canada, this might be your foothold. Now, disclaimer. In Canada, there are a lot of wonderful certified immigration professionals, from lawyers to immigration counselors, none of which I am. I am just sharing the facts and my own experience purely for educational purposes, but depending on your specific situation, it can definitely be helpful to consult with a professional who can give you advice on your own unique situation. So please seek them out and use all the resources available to you to decide what's best for you and your family. And of course, this is just for educational and entertainment purposes only. Let's start where most Americans start: express entry. Canada's points-based permanent residency system. You get points for age, education, language scores, work experience, Canadian work experience. Yes, there is a distinction. Job offers, provincial nomination. And when I first applied, I genuinely thought I was competitive. And maybe if I were a few years earlier, I would have been. I had a degree. I was working towards my master's. I was in the youngest and thereby most competitive age range. I had professional experience. But here's what I didn't fully grasp. Without Canadian work experience, you are at a huge disadvantage. Every 2 weeks, Canada runs draws, and they invite people above a certain comprehensive ranking system score. And every 2 weeks, I refreshed that page like it was a stock ticker. In Target, in class, in the middle of the night, didn't matter. Checked up on that puppy. But the cutoff scores kept rising. I was sitting outside of the country trying to immigrate into it, competing against people who had Canadian master's degrees, had 1 or 2 years of Canadian work experience, or already had employer support. My score wasn't terrible. It just wasn't enough. And here's the emotional part that no one talks about. When your entire future depends on a fluctuating number, you cannot plan your life. You don't sign a new lease, you don't commit to a job, you can't exactly move forward, and you just wait. I was trying to jump into the finish line without running the race. And that realization changed everything. Why I counted IEC out. At some point during that year, I looked at IEC, International Experience Canada. It's commonly called a working holiday visa. If you Google it, it's a youth mobility program for the UK, Ireland, Australia, France, Germany, and about 30 plus other countries. So I scrolled through the country list and realized the United States is not on it. So I did what most Americans do. I assumed the door was closed and I moved on. But what isn't clearly advertised is this. Americans can participate in IEC, just not directly. We need a middleman. So what IEC actually is, let's simplify it. IEC is essentially study abroad without the studying. If you are under 35, it allows you to live in Canada, work in Canada, and travel within Canada. The key benefit is an open work permit. This is critical. Most Canadian work permits are employer specific, meaning you need a job first, the employer must prove that no Canadian can do it, and you are tied to this employer. If you lose your job, you lose your status. On the other hand, an open work permit means you can work for almost any employer and you can change jobs, work in different industries, freelance, with caution for PR strategy. We'll go over that in another video. You can also receive a social insurance number, which is like a social security number, ability to open a bank account, ability to rent, and sometimes even access provincial healthcare. It allows you to function as a temporary resident. And for many countries, this is straightforward, but for Americans, we need a chaperone. Recognized organizations, or ROs, are government-approved organizations that are able to sponsor Americans into the IEC. You apply to them first, and they give you a nomination letter. This letter allows you to enter into the pool or database for the Canadian government. Think of them as the bridge between you and the Canadian government. The main ones most Americans use are Swap Working Holidays, IENA, Go International, or Step West. But here's the real talk. This is not free. You pay for the RO program fee, the government application fees, biometrics fee, health insurance, and there is a savings requirement. It definitely adds up. And yes, that's intimidating. But here's how I reframed it. What's the cost of staying stuck? What's the cost of another year refreshing immigration results? Or keeping your life on hold? For me, the investment made sense. ROs also provide support, can help with paperwork, sometimes can offer resume prep or help finding job offers, orientation, and so much more. And for first-time international movers, that matters. Spots are limited, they open seasonally, and they fill up quickly. And this is not just a casual Tuesday decision. You definitely need preparation, the step-by-step process. Here's what it looks like in reality. You join RO waitlists. When the spots open, and they usually give you notice, you have to apply quickly. You then pay the fee if you're accepted. You receive your nomination letter. You create an IEC profile. You enter the pool. You receive your invitation to apply, and you have to submit your full application within 20 days. At this time, you will have to provide police certificates, often a FBI check, a medical exam if you want to work in certain industries, work history, and forms. Then you might have your biometrics appointment and you wait for approval. Then you receive your port of entry letter, sometimes called a letter of introduction, and then you can actually move and activate your permit at the border. Don't get me wrong, I mean, you can see from the list. It is administrative, it's procedural, but it is doable. And I am just finishing up my round 2 of this whole thing, if you take it one checklist at a time. Now, this is the part people miss. IEC is not PR, it is a foothold. It allows you to live and work in Canada for 1 year with the possibility of another 1 year extension. Well, not exactly extension, another 1 year opportunity, should we say. When you live and work in Canada for 1 year in a skilled job, you qualify for Canadian Experience class under Express Entry, and that Canadian work experience helps you boost your comprehensive ranking score dramatically. It'll help you be more competitive, make employers more open, and provincial nominations possible. It changes your profile. Instead of applying as a complete outsider, you're applying as somebody who's already contributing, and that can make a massive difference. Caution for creators out there, self-employment does not contribute towards Canadian experience or Canadian experience class, so keep that in mind. So strategically, you can actually work a skilled job for 1 year, build your points, and keep creative work on the side. Temporary sacrifice, but it'll lead to permanent gain. So the reality check. This is not romantic. Honestly, it's expensive, bureaucratic, emotionally taxing, competitive, stressful, and you need to have savings, patience, and organizational skills. But it is possible. And if you're under 35, you have a window. And once you age out, unfortunately, the path closes. I know the fear. Leaving family, leaving familiarity, leaving Target. Moving abroad in your 20s or 30s feels terrifying, but stagnation is terrifying too. If you're waiting for the perfect PR invite before you live your life, you might be waiting forever. If I could go back, I would not have wasted that year chasing PR first. I would have used IEC as my bridge, and that's what I'm doing now. If you're under 35 and dreaming about Canada, don't count IEC out just because the US isn't listed on the country list. It exists, it works, it's not easy, but neither is staying somewhere you don't want to be. If you want a part 2 where I break down the documents, timelines, exact numbers, comment IEC. I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you in the next one.